already saw this. There's going to be really controversial calls throughout.
She's lying now. She clearly follows the Chiefs and knows what's going on.
But there's a lot of, and there's going to be stopping and looking at the video and talking. Okay, so I think that's kind of complicated and it slows things down. This is going to be a long game.
What's going on, everyone? Bear Bets Podcast is back. Super Bowl Friday is upon us. The big game is just a couple of days away now. You've heard enough from Geoff and Sammy P and Will and myself throughout the week. So as we get closer to the weekend, we figured we'd enlist some help to get us through the day and get someone who's a little better at predicting the future than Geoff and I are. That's for sure. Actually, that's not true, Geoff. We actually had a good year.
Very good year, yes.
In terms of our best bets. However, as high of a bar as we set, someone with a higher bar. Elie Barnes from Hex Old World Witchery is here in the heart of the French Quarter on Bourbon Street to give her psychic analysis of the games. Obviously, the first thing that people love to bet on. How are you, by the way?
I'm dynamite. And you're both intuitive. Everybody's intuitive. You just got to believe in yourself and kind of tune into that and trust your first instincts.
Oh, see, that's what I always say. First instinct is always right. Act like you belong. Act like you know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And you're fine. You're going to get there. But the game kicks off with this little coin toss thing, and the people love to bet on the coin toss for some reason. It's like instant gratification. Is it going to land heads? Is it going to land tails? People always say tails never fails. Is that going to be the case?
You know what? Right when we got in here, we were playing and trying to test out some methods, and I said tails, and you guys said that never fails, and I don't know because I don't watch a lot of football, so I'm still going to say tails.
Tails?
Yes,
yeah?
yes, I am.
Okay,
yes,
I did bet on that because I'm a degenerate, and I wanted a little action to start the game.
There you go. You're 1-0 then.
I'm 1-0.
Put it.
I want to give you guys two messages though. There are two ways I'm looking.
Okay.
Remote viewing means I'm going to visualize the color red for the Kansas City Chiefs or the color dark green for the Eagles, because that way I'm going to be able to see who's happy, who's jumping up and down, what the energy is emotionally on the field, because I'll be able to make a lot of judgments about that. And then I am using my classic tarot deck to make real specific predictions.
Are we allowed to guide you in a certain direction?
You can. You guys are in charge of me. I'm just telling you.
I don't want to
think red.
I don't want to be too much of it. I was going to say, does red or green in your world actually have like some sort of value or message or feeling to it? Any do colors or certain numbers have certain meanings?
Yeah, red is Mars, aggression, masculinity, travel, courage. Green is Venus, beauty and love. So they're natural competitors. They're natural competitors.
Green is certainly not.
Right? I know, right?
Stage left, stage,
right?
Yeah.
Stage right.
And I did psychically remote view this already, and I have some general predictions.
Okay.
Too,
Okay.
So, but I'm following you guys.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just
tails to start with.
Tails
Let's
to
talk
start
about
with.
first touchdown scorer. Okay, we have Barkley, Hurts, Kareem Hunt, and Travis Kelce. Who do we have for first touchdown scorer here?
Okay. Tell me the people again.
So Barkley, Hurts, Hunt, and Kelce.
Hunt.
Oh.
First touchdown score. Okay.
I like
I
that.
want to say this too. It's gonna
How do we see that there? What's the interpretation of how we get to Hunt?
It's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be busy. Okay. I look at my cards as yes or no's.
Okay.
Basically. And so we're saying these four players' names.
Gotcha.
Like I definitely don't think it's Kelce. Okay.
Okay.
That's like a solid no. The first two
A
guys.
lot of people are going to be unhappy with that.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's
Everybody
okay.
loves him. I know everybody loves him.
That's okay.
But he's saving his energy for later. Okay.
Whoa.
But it's going to be very active right away. There's going to be a lot of movement of the ball, and it's going to be kind of a sudden and unexpected grabbing of the ball and that first touchdown. Everybody's going to be like, wow, we can't believe that's what happened.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so who did I say?
You said Hunt.
Hunt. Okay, let's stick with Hunt. Write it down.
And Kelsey's going to be active early, but saving his.
Yes,
I
saving his
have
energy.
those receptions
but,
over.
But
Let's
the game's going to be powerful, active from the get-go, high scoring.
So wow.
And one more thing. I'm not going to say that yet. I'm going to save that for later.
Don't say anything.
Save that for later.
So,
okay, wait.
Hunt is going to score the first touchdown.
Yeah, I did those
which
already.
means that the Chiefs will probably have the lead at some point in the first half.
Yeah.
How do we? What do we see second quarter as we head into halftime? The Chiefs have been in their Super Bowl wins. They've trailed by double digits at some point in the game, so this would be a little unusual for them to get out to a lead and lead into halftime. Do we think the Chiefs are going to lead at halftime, or do we think the Eagles might win that second quarter?
So does that mean who will cover the first half line?
Yes.
Chiefs or Eagles?
Look at her. She knows our lingo already.
She's ready. So prepare.
Wow, y'all, it's going to be so close.
Okay.
Eagles are going to control the first line.
Okay.
There we go.
Busy though. I
I'm
really
writing
want to
this
say
down.
how
I'm
busy
gonna
this
make
game is
sure.
going to be. It's going to be touch and go. It's going to be split-second things. It's going to be a lot of power on the field.
Well, that's what the line indicates.
Yeah.
It's a 1-point spread, and it's a toss-up game, and we know that the Chiefs have been involved. Here's something crazy too. Like if you think it's going to be touch and go, close. The Chiefs have won 17 straight games that have been touch and go, 1-score game. So
Yeah.
they're feeling your power somewhat there.
So we're expecting to see that kind of action.
Yes.
we
It's
were
a
expecting to see that.
close game. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. We got tails. We got Hunt to score the first touchdown.
Yeah.
We Eagles,
And
to
Eagles
cover the
leading at
first half.
halftime.
As we approach halftime now, Kendrick Lamar is doing the halftime performance.
All right. I looked
First
at,
song.
Okay. I looked
only
at
know
these
one,
questions.
not like
I
that.
don't
So-
know. I don't know the gentleman. I
It's
know of
okay.
him. I know he won a bunch of Grammys. I
Yes.
think, recently.
Very
okay.
talented.
It's going to be a song about unexpected events with a lover.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go through the catalog.
I don't
We
know.
need to control him to
I
help us
don't
with
know.
that one.
I'm looking to get some help from
Maybe
someone
possibly also running from the law.
there. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
So maybe
All right.
maybe it's a song about lovers running from the law. Let's see. I don't know the
We're gonna have
song,
to
so
go
we'll
through
see
the
what
catalog.
happens.
It's
It's not a number one hit. It's not a number one hit.
Okay.
It's an outlier.
something a little.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like the outlier.
Yeah.
It's not an outlier for him.
See, this is where we need our man Vic right here.
Yeah.
Because Vikram is a huge Kendrick Lamar
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
I'm
Vic,
It also-
I'm over here. You can
I'm
tell us
hoping
the
we
answer
I'm
right
hoping
now.
someone
Yeah.
gives us a song in our head.
It
so we
also
can-
might be something that hasn't been played yet because it's coming up
Ooh.
on a new album that's under production and it's a complete
So
unknown.
that's not even on the board, probably.
Maybe
Wow.
not. And
Look at that. We got
you know
drips
what's
happening.
funny about this is and I don't know anything and I don't know his catalog.
Yeah.
But someone, I don't know if you heard through the grapevine or whatever, sent me a message the other day saying he gave me the name of the song that he had never even heard of, that it was like completely off the grid that was going to be the first song.
well,
You
how
didn't
would
share
we know that?
information with anybody yet.
How would
No,
we
I
know
didn't
that?
because
We're waiting to get
he
text from you for that.
like didn't even know it for sure, and I'm like,
Well, now we should wager on it.
yeah, well, I don't.
Call him up. Let's find out.
It wasn't an option on the list.
Oh, it wasn't on
Yeah,
the.
it's
Oh,
not an option.
Wasn't on the
which is why I
board.
didn't.
Okay.
This is getting good.
I
Gatorade
know.
color.
Yes, Gatorade color.
Jeff is very scientific. about
Purple.
this.
This is what Gatorade color is going to be poured on the winner. We
Yes.
got
Correct.
purple, orange, yellow, green, or blue.
Correct.
Okay. Purple,
Tells you a lot of things in the
orange, yellow, green, or blue. Man, I'm going to go with orange.
So that means that kind of leans towards an Eagles in your theory.
Yeah,
Because Jeff has a very
Yeah.
scientific theory
I mean,
about
scientific theory where
Gatorade
basically the
color.
Gatorade color, like
Yeah.
if you wear a white uniform, you're not going to use orange or red because it stains your uniform when you drink it.
Yeah.
So, but the Eagles have not. The Eagles, when they won, they did yellow. They did green yellow.
And they wear red, so they could be poured on orange.
No, the Chiefs were actually wearing white for the game.
Oh, no, that's right. They
Eagles
wear.
are wearing.
We don't
green.
want to stain.
Yeah.
So I'm
white
curious about
jersey.
orange is I think interesting this one. I didn't think about orange in this game because I don't know if the Eagles use orange.
Well, let me look at
Interesting.
Are those my choices, though?
Yeah, those are your choices.
So I'm still going to say orange.
Interesting.
All right.
Orange is the best Gatorade, by the way.
Okay, VP.
Glacier freeze, but with another.
All right, VP. Let's move forward.
That's that blue.
It's a light blue. There's two blues. That's
All
the
right.
lighter.
The dark blue is bad.
MVP is most valuable
Yes,
player,
most
right?
valuable
So we got
player.
Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley,
Yes.
Barkley.
Jalen Hurts,
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
All right, let's think about
Or
these
maybe,
guys.
or maybe someone from off the grid.
Yeah.
MVP.
You could say Chris Jones, and that would make me happy. Put
Man,
Chris Jones
I'm
in
telling you
there.
what, this game is going to be so hot and on fire. All right, it's definitely not
give me
Jalen
points.
Hurts or Travis Kelsey. It's neither
Okay.
one of those guys. Patrick Mahomes, Shaquan Barkley
yes.
is going to be the MVP.
Oh,
Very close,
That
very
would make
close.
a lot of people happy if it's Saquon.
And they're going to take time to decide that. It's so close,
means-
and there's going to be a little
could
controversy
Barkley
on
rush
that.
for 300 yards and the Chiefs win? He gets
On that
MVP still?
voting.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you now.
See, I don't even know who guys what play on what team. I really don't know these things.
I believe you.
Cool, okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So that's going to lead us to the question. We know the Eagles are going to lead at halftime, and it's going to be back and forth in the second half. Saquon Barkley's going to be the MVP. So does that mean the
Who?
Eagles win?
Who wins
Wins
the game?
the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Who's
Red or green? Oh boy, that's some swords.
Oh, dude, this is
There's
going to
some
be
guy
so
with more
tough.
swords. More
There's
swords.
going to be
Lots of
there's
swords.
going to be. I already saw this. There's going to be really controversial calls throughout.
She's
gonna be-
lying now.
and-
She clearly follows the Chiefs and knows what's going on.
But there's a lot of, and there's going to be stopping and looking at the video and talking. Okay, so I think that's kind of complicated and it slows things down. This is going to be a long game.
Definitely going back to the hotel.
For
to watch.
several reasons, I want to give it to the Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
You broke Jeff's heart.
I don't have a favorite.
You-
I do want to say that one of my favorite best readers in the city, Juliet's from Philadelphia, and she said we got to look at Taylor Swift at the end. Elie, please don't let them forget that. So I'm glad that's one of the questions.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Well, the last
we're going to
question.
ask about
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, and it's going to be. I would imagine the answer might be
Oh.
no. What?
You know what I forgot though to
What?
look at, which I thought of this morning? Is it possible it could go into overtime?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
very easily.
Can I check on that real
Yes.
quick?
Yeah.
Because I
Last
felt
year's game went into overtime.
did it?
Yeah.
I felt like it could possibly go into
There was no
overtime.
overtime for like 48 Super Bowls, and then just like we had 2 in the last.
You know
8
what?
years.
I'm just going to say it's highly likely.
Okay, so
That it- that-
Eagles plus overtime. Okay.
Our bosses
Okay.
would be very, very happy
Happy
if this
overtime.
game goes to overtime.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes. That means ratings are through the roof.
Okay.
That means ad dollars are through the roof, and that means Jeff and I get raises.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, we get raises. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's
It's in
very
our
likely.
contract,
It's very
actually.
likely. You know, you got a remote view. But I will say this too: in remote viewing, I saw a lot of activity in the red color, a lot of jumping up and down, a lot of hooting and hollering. But I wasn't sure if that wasn't about the Taylor Swift thing,
Okay. So,
not just the winning.
So does that mean that Travis Kelce is going to propose to Taylor Swift after the game?
Probably.
Probably.
I'm gonna check on that for sure though. But I
Probably.
still.
After a loss. That would
After
be
a loss.
tough.
not-
Right,
that'd
I
be
know,
hard.
I know, but think about how to win it for the Chiefs if they actually lose the game by like 3 points in overtime, and then he gets out there on one knee with a stunning ring. I mean, that would win it for them.
What would
Like
he
turning
do?
around the whole energy of that. Be
Yeah.
a win-win. Eagles
In
win.
the tunnel, like.
Okay,
after
is that the
locker room?
last question though?
Yes,
Who wins
yes.
it?
Yes.
Well, and then you have to read our palms. 'cause we-
I will. I'm gonna tell y'all everything.
Okay, let's go. Will he propose?
Hell yeah. And I didn't think so. I thought that's so dorky. She's probably already pregnant.
Well.
Oh.
Okay,
They're gonna
well,
have kids right away. This is her
Pregnant?
time. I mean, she's done a huge career. She's in the
Plus
right
engaged.
age. He wants a family. She wants a family. His whole family wants a family. I think I heard she's a Eagles fan, though. Is that
She
right? Her
grew up-
family
she-
is.
Her
She grew up-
dad is.
her
yes.
dad is,
Yeah.
So that's why I think there's a lot of
It's
peacemaking.
going to be
at
an
the
interesting
end
Kelsey Brothers
between-
podcast this week.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be. We got to tune in that one, and ours, of course.
It's
Yeah.
because the moms of Taylor and what's his first name? Kelsey,
Travis.
Travis, the moms of Taylor and Travis are already buds, besties, and they are just begging for this to happen. They can't wait to plan the wedding and all the festivities. So I think just to please the moms, they're going to do it. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Read your
Let's
palms.
do
All right.
palm reading time.
I don't know. Let's do Jeff first. Bear
Jeff,
first.
okay.
No,
That's
this is
Which one do we
Bear.
want, right or left?
Both.
Oh.
If you're right-handed, this is so
I am-
important
I am
about
By the way, there
this
you
is so
go.
important
I
about
am
palm
right-handed.
reading. That's your right hand,
Yes.
okay? The left hand, if you write with your right hand, the left hand is the childhood and the genetics, and then the right hand is what
Okay.
you've made of yourself so far. You know, at the time of your
Humidity
life.
is swollen my hands up so much. so
It's
far.
okay. They're fine. It's food allergies, you know, and water weight gain because you're eating a lot of salt right now, and you're probably drinking bourbon for breakfast. But that's what we do in New Orleans. You got to have bourbon for breakfast. Okay, you got a great, classic, strong, masculine hand, nice square palm, down to earth, practical, hardworking. You know, you can do man chores, change the tire, stuff like that really well. Really nice long heart line, great cardiovascular health, nice emotional content for you,
Thank you.
Bear.
I
You're
like
a
to
more
consider
developed.
myself a very soft,
You're a
emotional
very
kind of guy.
developed man in that way. You have a writer's fork on the headline, which means great at communication, writing, and teaching. Long lifeline, but you expect to travel widely and maybe finish your life far away from where you were
Well,
born.
I'm sure he would love
But
that.
that you're going to have a second home back where your family is from. And
Really?
you're going to be vacationing there a lot
Okay.
as you get into your retirement
So,
ages. I'm going to put you living at 98.
Oh.
Wow.
Real good sex drive. Good job on that.
Oh.
And
Go.
bow of
Congrats.
intuition. You actually really should trust your psychic abilities. Okay, you got a,
Well,
a
I do.
raw gut
I
instinct.
put myself out there. Every
Jeff,
week
both
on the
hands.
show.
You're right-handed.
Yes.
I am
Wow.
going to move abroad.
See,
by the way.
look at
I'm
these
gonna
great
move very
guys.
far
You
away.
guys have these
Extra.
classic,
A giant,
big,
yes.
square palms. That's just practical, hardworking, common sense, down to earth. Your fingers, however, are very wide-spaced, especially that Mercury finger. Independent thinking, anarchist, don't want to do what you're told, not going to conform. Okay, self-managing. Like
Okay.
if somebody comes in and says, hey, you're going to do this, you say, oh, excuse me, I got to go get a cocktail right now. I'm not listening to you.
Okay.
Good, you can manage yourself though really
Okay.
well, okay? Your lines are more complicated. They've got a little bit more what we call chaining
Relationship
in
status is
them.
complicated.
That's kind of back and forth.
Okay.
And you have a lot more small lines in your hand. That's a little bit of overthinking. That's a lot of complex decision making, back and forth with your decisions. You also have writer's fork. You're also a great communicator, teacher, announcer. Okay, good. Equally powerful lifelines in both hands, okay? And again, and really great career lines, powerful career lines, great wealth, great libido. You guys are neck and neck on that.
That's
Probably
amazing.
living to 100.
Wow, you got
I
But-
would take
but-
that. A couple grandkids, you know.
But
Yeah.
in the early part of your life, up till about 50, you do change locations a few times.
I've
And you're
lived in, like-
undecided about maybe where you want to live later in life. And nice dream life, nice subconscious, and a little bit of high blood pressure.
Is that true?
Not yet. So hopefully we
Don't eat the salt.
Hopefully we keep it down.
Drink
Yeah.
water with your bourbon.
Yes.
Yes, always.
Okay,
That's
any other
fantastic.
thing you want me to answer about the football game?
I think we got everything answered.
I think
I
that was
think I'm
good.
excited to
You
see
did
this.
great
You
job.
said
Really.
it.
I have
Eagles-
no idea.
So Eagles.
Eagles are going to win a high-scoring overtime game.
Yeah.
I think that everyone signed up
Complicated
for
plays.
that.
Oh, I know that last message I got. I don't know what this is called, but the way they make the decisions about all the plays, and there's somebody that's like saying it, directing it, and
Yes.
telling
the
them.
coordinator.
Both teams have very, very complicated plays and systems
Correct.
for this game.
They do.
And they're each trying to outthink the other by like guessing ahead what's going to happen.
Yes.
It's going to be some really unusual plays on both sides.
I'm up for that.
Unexpected stuff.
I'm
that.
absolutely.
Every quarter.
And then maybe the Philly special, maybe a tush push. And after this game, actually the coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, Kellen Moore, he might be the Saints head coach come Monday as well.
Wow.
Yes.
So Eagles Super Bowl win, Kellen Moore
Wow.
stays behind, coaches the Saints. Here's the story.
Couple small injuries. Somebody really important plays the last quarter injured, and they don't tell how much it hurts.
That would not.
That tracks well for Super Bowl.
That
if you
feels
see
about
him
right.
coming in with a stretcher right at the end, it's somebody who just couldn't stand up anymore. Okay, but yeah, I see that happening quite a bit too.
Ellie,
A little
Thank
bit
you
of
so
a little bit
much.
of tussling on
That
the
was
on the
great.
field. Yay!
Thank you
so
You're
much.
great. I love that. Thank you guys
I
so
think
much.
the best part of all that is I'm going to be living abroad and live to 98.
Yay!
It's
Good
part of your
job.
dream too. It's fantastic.
Exactly right.
You got it. Good job.
All right, now we'll bring our good buddy Will Hill in for the gambling group chat, and we'll dive into the Sunday's game a little bit more. Well, I'm glad I'm going to be living to 98, Jeff. I guess you're going to be living to 100.
100. Let's go.
But yeah, moving far away from my home, that's going to happen. I can guarantee you that. So thank you, Elie, for looking into our future. I like what I saw. And Elie, of course, had one of the questions involving our Super 6 this week, which the column will be up. And for those pop culture fans, one of those questions will be, which combination of songs will be Kendrick Lamar's first song on his set list on the DraftKings Super 6. And Elie went off the board and said it's not going to be one of those songs that are listed. And there are reports out there of a projected set list. And the deal, Elie might be right. Do your research, as they say. I did my own research, as they say. I'm a little salty this morning.
I could tell, Bear. To be fair,
But
are
it's out
these
there.
any of these songs? Have you heard any of them?
Not like us.
Not like us, yeah.
That's the only one.
Yeah.
that-
My kids even know that.
I admit I'm like
Yeah.
the squarest.
Halftime show for me now.
I said I need Vic here. I need Vic here to help me out with all this.
The halftime show for me has turned into looking at all the wagers that I'm winning or losing, just counting them up in my head mentally.
Correct.
To see what I have to do in the second half.
Yes, exactly. Where do I stand?
Yeah.
What's my prop checklist? What am I good with? But hopefully we'll be good with my man Will Hill, who's going to join us here now in the in the gambling group chat. So we'll gonna kind of focus on props all day. Of course, Elie gave us the Super Bowl, the coin flip tails as well. So we'll see what happens there. Her Gatorade color, all that. But we're going to start it on the field here and just take it off the novelty stuff to the actual stuff that we can really truly handicap. And one of the things that I think is worthwhile here is taking a stab on the Chiefs and looking at the random Chief du jour like to score. Like if you go down the list of players who have scored in the Super Bowl for Kansas City, you're looking at the Damian Williams, the Sky Moores, the Kadarius Tonys, Nicole Hardman, MVS, like all of these like players who like you wouldn't have expected necessarily to score, Jeff and Will. Like who's going to be the random Chief, Will, that's going to find the end zone on Sunday?
Yeah, even in the Chiefs' first Super Bowl, Mahomes scored the first one, and that's one he used to run more earlier in his career. Now we're coming off a game where he had 2 touchdowns, so I don't know that you count him as a sleeper. He's at plus 250, but a guy that's been faded in the prop market, a guy that is a lot of sharp people are against, and I understand it. He's kind of been phased out. Is Hopkins, but you can get him at like 5 to 1. Again, all it takes is one. He's a red zone target. He's got sure hands. He's a guy, Jeff, where he doesn't necessarily even need to be open, where you can throw it to him. He's just going to throw that jump ball and back shoulder, whatever, in terms of a fade. And all it takes is one. He's a veteran, so if they get some distance in this game, would they do like a lifetime achievement, career achievement thing where, hey, let's get DeAndre Hopkins, let's scheme up a touchdown for him in the Super Bowl. Who knows? Could be his last game. So him at 5 to 1, even though he's over under for catches just period, and the game is 1.5, and the under just keeps getting bet and bet and bet. But that's one if you want to take a stab. Again, you're not going to get huge numbers on any of these guys just for anytime touchdown, but that's one that I at least think is interesting in terms of that.
Bear, I did some fun things with this one.
I love it.
So we talked about this
off
air yesterday, Will, and I went with a Hendershot, third tight end for the Chiefs to score a touchdown this game, because let's just say Travis Kelce's being doubled, and they got Noah Gray, and like there's a possibility on a goal line play that Hendershot's in there, just standing in the back of the end zone open. If we're talking about weird players to score, he is
one of the weirdest.
He might not even be active. I don't even know. And then I took look, the Chiefs have, and this is one of the reasons why they're good, guys. They win all 3 phases, right? You've seen their special teams so far in the postseason with the dynamic kickoff return, some punt returning, and the more that Remigio is playing. ACC legend, former Cal Bear before he went to Fresno, I believe. Right. ACC legend there. I took him to score a touchdown as well in this game. Could be special teams score. Could be he's not scoring an offense. I'm just thinking he scores a special teams. Look, we saw in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, Kadarius Toney almost got home, right? Longest punt return in Super Bowl history. So I played again. I got limited on the Nico.
No, shocker.
So like I couldn't even put down
$16,
a pizza wager. It wasn't even allowed for that wager.
Humble
so,
brag. That is a humble brag right there.
Big winner over here.
$23. Okay, so no humble brag here for me, buddy.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Yeah. So I just do. Look, I like that concept, guys, of just doing that for this game, because the Chiefs, to everyone's point, have had random scores in this game because people take away on defense. If I'm taking away someone on the red zone, I'm taking away Travis Kelce, right? I'm taking away Hollywood Brown and Worthy. Goal line play, Hendershot could be open. Long shot, of course.
I'm going to vent for a second here, Jeff.
Yes.
These books should want a bet like that. Like the chance it's going to win is like minimal.
Oh yeah.
And like it's the same thing that happened a couple of weeks ago. I tried to bet an unraced horse to win the Kentucky Derby. Horse hasn't raced yet. It's like 65 to 1 or something.
That's a humble brag.
Try and
unraced.
Yeah, I got a little information from someone inside the industry, but like the chances that this horse is going to win the Kentucky Derby in May and hasn't even hit the track yet, like, are slim. They go to bed at $200. Your stake is too high. $100. Your stake is too high. $50, your stake is too high. I just finally stopped. I'm like, they should be taking as much as like I want to offer on a bet like that, because it's got no chance to win anyway. PSA over. Will, what props are you looking at?
I'm with the rest of the world. I know it's been public, but just because something's public doesn't mean it's not going to win.
Right.
Dallas Goedert over catches, yards, 4.5 catches. The yardage is creeped up to, I think, in the low 50s, 52.5. I just think the Chiefs are shaky against tight ends, and if you're going to have that much focus on Barkley, the middle of the field could be opening. Just look at some of the games tight ends have had against the Chiefs. Bowers had 140 plus, Likely had 111. Schultz had some big games. There's been big games against the Chiefs in terms of the tight ends, and Goddard's coming off a game where it's 7 for 85, sure-handed. I think he mixes well with play action. So him getting 5 catches, 60, 70 yards, I actually don't think plus 850 to lead the game in receiving yards. Is there a path where he gets 80, 90 yards and nobody else gets that? It's not terrible. So I like Goddard.
He was leading he led all the Eagles receivers, I think, in the NFC Championship game, did it?
Yeah, I think he did. The public versus sharp thing for one game, I feel like sometimes will, like the group think, like, yeah, Goddard plays well against Kansas City. Like this is a matchup that favors the Eagles, even if the number is much higher than it would be normally, and it's been bet up. If you think it's going to happen, then take it. Like I think that sometimes we get too much into that for this one single game where everyone's wagering on this game, everyone's giving opinions. You're going to have the opinion of the masses who watch the film and pay attention, and it's okay to say, yeah, we think Goddard's gonna have a good game because the Chiefs don't cover tight ends well. That's okay to admit that that's part of your handicap.
Yeah, again, and John Murray was talking about this earlier in the week too, when he was talking about, like, because I work for the book, like people think I know what's going to happen, and like the public is betting this, and like, well, doesn't mean that it's not going to win. Like you said, well, I like one of your other props that you had on that list, about the no score in the first 5 minutes bet, which was I think minus 125. But I think the way we all kind of think the game is going to go, if the Eagles score, you're probably looking at maybe a lot of running plays, and that clock runs. And as long as Barkley doesn't rip off a 60-something yard run on the first play of the game, you're going to be in good shape. And then the Chiefs, I think we kind of feel maybe not think and dunk, but just kind of methodically go down the field. They take a lot of time off the play clock. So I like that bet as well, Will.
Yeah, and look, we talked about this with Notre Dame, Ohio State. We talked about it in some of the college football playoff games. It's hard to score in the first 5 minutes. Yes. You can score on your first drive and still not score in the first 5 minutes. I think Notre Dame, Ohio State was an example of that, where I think it was like an 8-9 minute drive.
Ridiculous.
18 plays or something. 5 minutes. Unless there's a turnover, unless there's a huge chunk play, it's just hard to and if you're going to kick a field goal in the first, you have to get to fourth down, so the clock's going to be running. Just again, without a chunk play, it is hard to score in the first 5 minutes, and for the X's and O's reasons you guys were talking about, where Fangio likes to keep the ball in front of him. I don't know that the Chiefs are going to have all these explosive plays. Okay, maybe Barkley pops one and you lose. I mean, any bet could lose, but generally there is some tightness in these Super Bowls on offense. So no score in the first 5 minutes is a fun one. You got to dig through the props to find these, and every time I look, it's almost, you get to the point in the week where, all right, I don't even want to look at the odds anymore because I'm done adding bets. I have enough bets because every time I look, I add something. So I'm just at the point where, I'm not looking anymore to add more stuff. I need this game to be played, so I stop betting stuff.
And that's what happened with me yesterday. I went back through all of the different sites I have available, because being here in Louisiana, I have like access to different books that we don't have access to in Connecticut, Will. And it's like, okay. And like I keep like, okay, this, I forget like where something was that I maybe saw the other night, and maybe it's not there anymore. And it's kind of like information overload at this point. It's like, now we're at the point where it's like, I don't want to just bet on something for the sake of betting on something. Like I got a laundry list of stuff that I already came up with, and maybe who the heck knows, that's probably more than anybody would want to bet on. But I'm gonna you guys take a knee here while I rip through my shopping list here. Please, you guys can just sit here and listen, and have a coffee break or whatever. But we talked about that random chief. I'm going to go with Juju Smith-Schuster as the random chief to have an anytime touchdown and go over his receiving yards. Geoff talked about it yesterday on the show, about how the middle of the field, and Juju is a guy who works the middle of the field. Maybe he has the matchup advantage on Oren Burks, and maybe he's the chief du jour that wind up scoring an anytime touchdown. He even mentioned he had over 100 targets a couple years ago in his first full year in Kansas City before he left and then came back. So Mahomes is familiar with him. Maybe he's the guy that can do it. Saquon Barkley, his longest run under 25.5 yards. That was a little bit juiced. That was still up at DraftKings, the minus 130. I know they're random numbers all over the place. It's 23.5, 24.5 at lower juice, but I would rather pay the higher juice for the for more yards. The soccer one I love here. Like, if you look at Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, the number of goals combined in Saturday's Madrid derby between Atletico and Real Madrid will be fewer than the number of touchdown passes combined in this game. I'll get into that a little bit later in the show and go into a little bit more detail.
We'll trust you on that one.
Please trust me on that one, yeah. But again, that game is Saturday, so you got to make this bet either Friday night or Saturday morning before that soccer match takes place. Both punters to have a touchback. These guys get cute and try and pin the ball, land the ball inside the 5, the 1 or 2 yard line. Ball's going to go into the end zone. Just until they learn to punt the ball out of bounds or land the ball like the 10 or the 8 or the 9 yard line, I'm gonna take touchdowns at plus money, and as long as one has a touchback, well, we will be good. I know the school of thought is that we're probably not going to see many punts from around midfield, but I think if we're looking at like a four,
can boot the ball though. I mean, he can
yeah,
boot the ball in the end zone
yes,
from
in a dome too, like that, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Longest touchdown in the game, under 39.5 yards. We talked at length about that, how I don't think we're going to see a very lengthy touchdown score. I think we're going to see a lot of drives. Another cross-sport one, that this is one I took from the Superbook when John Murray was on. The combined number of points, rebounds, and assists from Giannis in Sunday's game against the Sixers, -0.5 versus the combined points in the Super Bowl. I don't think we're going to see a super high scoring game. If you take Giannis's averages combined for those three, you're looking at around 50. But who the hell knows if Joel Embiid is going to decide to play or what? Like, we could be looking at a situation where Giannis goes ham and goes for like 40, 18, and 6, and then you're looking at a total in the 60s, and you're probably in good shape. And then the first carry and first reception stuff that we talked about earlier in the week too. So now that I'm out of breath, Geoff, you can pick it up and comment,
like that.
share.
I'm trying to find that.
Feel free to chime in.
I'm trying to find that touchback prop right now. I kind of like that. So
check BetMGM.
Yeah, I think to your point about, Will made this point about like all the wagers available to you. It's a long list of trying to go to the sports book and find the exact wager
what tab it's
that you're trying to
find.
find.
From time to time.
So yeah, I'm going to add more. I have this list. I told you, I wrote everything down. I don't know if that's good or bad.
You got a Christmas theme there. You got red and green.
Yeah, red and green. I got a lot of wagers.
Now you have red and green as well. Like, so not only Christmas theme, are the red bets like Chiefs?
No, it's only two color pens I had in my backpack. These are the ones that our buddy hands out.
Okay.
These are the ones I've made. So we have lots of wagers. But I'll give you the ones that I have made. Let's go to my prop bets for this game. Look, I wager on these games, as I've told you guys before, on sort of how I see the game going. And a lot of these are Chiefs related because I don't really know what the Eagles are going to do offensively.
Chiefs related, even though you wear Eagles green.
I am wearing, I've decided this is like a Michigan State green. So it's a Big Ten pride type of thing.
More
here
like a Coastal Carolina.
For the Oregon Ducks. The Eagles, I just don't know what they're going to be offensively. I have a sort of idea, but I think a lot of different guys can do things. So I've sort of stayed away from a lot of those props. I do think I know how the Chiefs are going to play this game. So I have Patrick Mahomes here over 36.5 pass attempts. You can find a 35.5 at some books. 36.5 is sort of what's available at the moment. We talked about this all week. The Chiefs cannot run the football very well with the offensive line changes they've made. So what are they going to do? They're going to pass the ball to run the ball, right? They have lots of creative things they can do to run the football, even though they're not runs. Those fly sweeps, those quick screens to the edge, some shovel passes. Those are all pass attempts, right? So it's a high number. I get it. But I think this is what the Chiefs are going to have to be in this game. If I think they're going to throw the ball a lot, I think Mahomes will have a lot of yards. That's how they're going to move the ball in this game. So those are correlated. I'm going to have a lot of these as we go through here, sort of correlated props. I believe the Chiefs will target the middle of the field, right? The Eagles, as we know, play a decent amount of too high zone. That is easier to find holes in the middle of the field. If I think the Eagles pass rush will get to Kansas City at times, the middle of the field is where Mahomes will target. So that includes a Juju Smith-Schuster to have a bigger game than we might think. He did it last weekend as well, right? The RPO game for him, but middle of the field, right? Middle of the field. And he trusts Juju. Juju's won a Super Bowl with him. We talked about it 2 years ago. He had over 100 targets. He had, I think, 78 catches. So Juju, to me, will have a big part in this game.
I thought Will was going to go there before,
when he talked about Juju, I did over receptions and yards. Again,
when Will was talking about like someone who was getting faded all over the place, I was worried that maybe Juju was being favored and faded. Maybe Will was going to land on Juju as well. Not worried, but I was curious.
So we all went with Juju here. I like Saquon Barkley under the longest rush of 25.5. Look, this number most weeks is between 17.5 and 19.5, guys. It's 25.5 because of the last 2 weeks, right? He had a 78-yard, I believe, a 60-yard, a 68-yard. And against the Packers, remember, he fell down when he should have scored a touchdown there. That would have been another 70-yard touchdown. The Chiefs guys tackle really, really well. They've missed the least amount of tackles in the NFL this season. It's a good tackling defense. Justin Reed, I don't think he's going to have a game where Barkley has a big gain that is over 25.5 yards. If you like that, by the way, the Chiefs defense to tackle well, Justin Reed over tackles Bear is a decent answer to make
What was that number?
It's combined tackle. Here we go. Like I have my notebook right here.
And that's a green or a red one.
Over 5.5 combined tackles and assists for Reed. Not on the menu, but you can do that as well if you would like.
Additional play for
wagers. Oh, here we go. I'll give my last one. I believe it's on the chart here. Highest scoring half, second half, minus 115. We talked about this all week, right? Where the first half sometimes is teams filling each other out, it's longer drives, and then boom, the second half, we have more explosive plays. Defenses get tired, teams figure things out. And I like under 6.5 punts. I talked about this week. I don't think a lot of punts, Bear, will happen in this game. And if they do, hopefully we get some touchbacks for you.
I'm going to have to, I'm writing that, Justin Reed over 5.5 tackles.
Yeah.
There was another one that was not, that I played that wasn't on that list, and I'm curious to get your guys' opinion. I sent it to you both yesterday about like the first holding penalty in the game to be on the. I'm gonna be the Jeff's favorite guy out there, looking for holding penalties and looking for motion and all those penalties on the offensive line. But I think
probably
there is a way that it would be the Chiefs, because you figure they are going to throw the ball more, and maybe there's a problem with Caliendo and their offensive line. They've had a lot of holding penalties in the past. I think there's a higher likelihood that the Chiefs get a penalty on a holding play than the Eagles, who are probably more apt to run the ball. And I haven't gotten called for a ton of penalties this year, so I'm going to go against the ref. The ref bias and say that those biased refs are going to call a holding penalty on the Chiefs.
I don't disagree with that. I think if you look at the way the Eagles play offensive line and the rushers the Chiefs have versus sort of the Chiefs offensive line, the rushers that the Eagles have, both guards, I don't think the tackles will get holding penalties as much as maybe people hope Juwan Taylor does, but I like that, Bear. That's you can find these wagers everywhere.
Yes.
There's too many.
Look far and away and all over the place, and you can find these people. People know. People have access. They know where we're going here with a lot of with a lot of these. Will, you're not with us on Sunday, I'm told. That makes me sad. This is like goodbye for football season.
What is going on Sunday? This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Yeah, there's we're doing a digital show with the bet board and stuff here from New Orleans. So it's kind of just like centric to taking place here. So. Unfortunately, people are just going to have to deal with Jeff and I on Sunday. Anything else for the?
I want to know Will's food spread for the.
Yes, that's a great. Will, what's your plan on Sunday?
First of all, I'm bummed out. I'm not going to be with you guys. I will be listening. I'll probably be rooting for you to have a bad show, just because that's my nature. But
we wake up Sunday morning with the sore throat, nasal drip.
Yes.
Yeah, bad shaving cut. That's minus 160, by the way. Bad shaving cut by Bear on Sunday morning. That's probably the safest prop on the board.
Wings is the one seed in terms of snacks. I know
Jay
people
Kim,
like
did
nachos.
you put your order in?
Yes, we will go there, have dinner, and then just get a bunch of bucket of wings to go or something. People like nachos. Nachos are good, but nachos just don't have the window, the shelf life where the cheese. You got a good like 2, maybe 3 minutes. Then the cheese gets cold. Nachos just aren't on the same level as wings. Wings are one of these foods they're good when they're hot, but they're good when they're cool off, room temperature. Wings just are there. So to me, wings, Jeff, are clearly the one seed in terms of our rankings here.
Also easy to eat. Like you get maybe a little messy at times if they're very saucy, but just easy to eat. Like you just grab them, you eat them. Like you could stand and talk while you eat wings. They're fantastic. Gamma Future also shares wing recipes, by the way. Maybe we can have an episode on how to make wings, because we were talking the other day about the way to dry the wings out to cook them at home.
Yeah, we will need drying racks is what we found.
Yes,
out
Sammy sent the drying rack Amazon link for Will to make wings at home.
They're not going to get crispy unless you really dry them. And I was putting a lot of effort into drying the wings. They're just not going to get crispy. There's just so much moisture that hurts the crispiness. I know baking powder helps a little bit, but you had some tips in terms of like putting them in the fridge with some salt, some baking powder, let them dry out a little, and then you get to the preferred crispiness. The crispiness is a huge difference between good wings and great wings.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. Like, I think the actual like wing part of the wing is actually better easier to eat than the drumstick part. Like in terms of easy to eat, like the wing part, I get a bite.
Yeah, but the bones though, it's
but you can work around that. You can get like the cartilage part and the tip of the actual drumstick part. Like
I think the meat's a little more tender in the flat ones too.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm hungry now.
And we're blue cheese, right? We're not going ranch.
I'm ranch.
We're going blue
Blue
cheese.
cheese.
You're ranch.
I'm blue
Oh
cheese.
no.
A ranch. Not a lot, a little bit. I'm not a blue cheese guy. I don't like the bitterness of the blue cheese.
They probably kick you out of Buffalo for doing that.
I told you the one time I did have wings in Buffalo was last season when I went to the Bills Chiefs divisional game. Best wings of my life. And Bear, like it was, I'm sure you've eaten them. It was the best wing of my life. I did do the blue cheese. It was there.
Good.
It wasn't that bad. I didn't ask for ranch. I didn't want to be disrespectful in the house of the wings.
It's their rule. They invented it. They created it. You got to.
They were the best ever. I tried to order some from this restaurant. It didn't have them. I was so sad.
You're right though with the nachos and stuff. Will like the cheese, the shelf life, like with the cheese congealing and stuff. Like I love nachos and I love queso and all that. But yeah, but you're right. Wings definitely over nachos.
What about you? What's your plan Sunday, Bear?
I don't know. I have to get the lay of the land and see what the because I'm on the pregame show on Sunday, so it's just going to be a question of whether.
Humble brag.
I was going to say I'm going to get on right here by Geoff for he's on the.
Will and I don't even get to have fun like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I might just wind up hanging out with Geoff in a room back at the hotel. Or order some food up and
I'm thinking
kick
of
back and
I
put
am
some gym shorts on and feel like I'm kind of at home. Like, just while it'd be great to be over there, the worst thing is going to be getting out of there with the mob of people and the security. Like, say, if you can get out of there earlier, and I got like a 5:25 a.m. flight on Monday morning, like I'm going to be wanting to be packed up and ready to go. And it's like sleep is a paramount on Sunday night into Monday morning. And if I lose all my bets, I'm going to be extra pissed.
The thought
so you're not going to be sweating St. Mary's game Saturday night college basketball until like 2 a.m. You're gonna pass on those.
Yeah, good job with you, by the way, with St. Mary's the other.
That was a good game. San Francisco, St. Mary's, good one.
Geoff,
the thought of sitting in a quiet hotel room with a bowl of gumbo, with the air to 65 degrees, and just my notebook I have right here with all my bets, just like sitting out like this, kind of excites me.
Laptop open.
I'm not gonna lie.
Laptop open.
Because I am gonna do.
Betting.
Will said it yesterday. I am gonna do try to middle with the plus numbers during the game. So you have to sort of pay attention, obviously, and find the best opportunity to do that. You need your laptop or your phone open to make that happen. But the just idea of watching football in a cold, quiet room, volume. I typically
lights down a little bit, little dark.
Yeah, I typically listen to the games with the volume lower, so just like a low volume.
Yep. Just
thoughts to myself, watching football. I might do that.
A couple last thoughts on this as we wrap up. I remember a couple years ago, and look, the books have a lot going on with the Super Bowl. There's a lot of lines. There's a lot to manage. I remember a couple years ago, the coin toss went through. We knew who was getting the ball first, and they still left up first quarter lines, first team to score. Now, if you have a bunch of books, it helps to, maybe they leave something up. There's a lot going on, so they're just more prone to make mistakes. So keep an eye on that. When everyone is having their party and drinking their beer and having their wings, just keep an eye on, hey, the coin toss went through. This team won. They're getting the ball first. Is there anything still up? Is the third quarter up? Because you can bet the team that's kicking off first. So keep an eye out for those things. These books can be, again, a little overwhelmed, I think is a good word when there's so much going on in terms of the Super Bowl. And just one last thing. I'm of the age, and Geoff, I think we're around the same age. It's just funny how we kind of assume the Super Bowl is just going to be a good game. I remember growing up, the Super Bowl, all you ever wanted was a good game. We had so many Chargers, 49ers, and the Cowboys, Bills were all blowouts. Falcons, Broncos. Every year it seemed like a blowout. I think when it turned, first of all, the Patriots always play close ones. The Chiefs always play close ones, except for the Bucs one. When it was Titans, Rams, and I think we talked about that game a week or so ago, and the guy was a yard short of sending the game to overtime. A lot of people think they were going to win with that touchdown. It was only going to push to overtime, but that's kind of turned. The last 25 years, it kind of take for granted that we get a good game here. It's rarely, you can count kind of on one hand the last 25 years or so where you get a blowout.
I think we can all agree, Will, that Jets Vikings would have been a much better Super Bowl than Broncos Falcons. That's for sure.
We'll never know, will we?
That's a high note to end on. Well, appreciate you, bud. We'll be back around back when we get back from vacation and kick around. We'll get ready for March Madness and Championship Week and baseball and. Yeah, I can't wait for a baseball.
Did we just put the Dodgers win total over? Just
104.5. I don't know, but there's a time and a place for that. Let's have a great weekend, everybody. Will, thanks, bud. Enjoy those games.
All right, back from Gambling Group Chat. I'm sad to see it go, Bear, but
I am
we
too.
did all football season. We back, as you mentioned, to cover the other sports. There are other sports, by the way, besides football. We'll
good-
talk all about that.
The good thing about the gambling group chat is we have the text thread. That's why it's a group chat.
we gamble on
We're
everything.
going to
too.
talk to our guys, but we're just going to miss them here on our
Yeah.
show.
And as you can hear behind us, construction happening. This is where the set will be Sunday on Bourbon Street for the coverage of the Super Bowl. We'll be back on Sunday as well, Sunday morning for our show. We're going to do a fun little show here. We're going to give you kind of like last second wagers to make. We're actually going to give dollar amounts. We have money to spend, I believe, on Sunday too. So it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
I like spending other people's
Oh,
money.
well, let's spend your
But I
money
was going to
here.
say, we spending their money or
Yeah.
spending our money?
I think we're spending their money, but we're spending your money here for your best bets.
We are, and I love this. You've got to look around for this. It's kind of a unique prop that's up in some places, and it's a cross-sport prop between the Super Bowl and soccer, and it is the number of goals in the Atletico Madrid-Real Madrid match on Saturday against the number of touchdown passes in the Super Bowl. And I laid 140 that there will be more touchdown passes in the Super Bowl combined than there will be goals in the Madrid derby there between Real and Atleti. It's a massive game atop the table in La Liga. Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone, who, for people who are familiar with soccer, they typically do not allow and concede a ton of goals, especially in big matches. These two teams are atop, looking at the top of the table. Simeone's probably just, if we get a point here away from home against Real, we will take it. But if you go back and look at the last 11 games that they played in league play, 9 times we've seen 2 goals or fewer. Once we saw 3 goals. Once we saw 4 goals. So again, these have either been 1-1, 1-0, things like that. That 2-0, that's what we're getting at. We get 3 passing touchdowns, I think, in the Super Bowl. I think we all kind of agree that 3 is probably a minimum.
Yeah.
What we're going to get in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good. And if somehow we maybe get 3 from Mahomes and 1 from Hurts, or 2 from Hurts and 2 from Mahomes, and we're looking at 4, I feel really good about winning that bet. So number of touchdown passes in the game, higher than number of goals in Atleti Real. Saturday, by the way, the game is Saturday. So make sure you're not waiting until Sunday to put that bet in.
I kind of want to watch soccer with you Saturday and see just how angry it makes you. Because I see how angry it makes you just like on Thursday mornings when we hang out in the studio.
You should have watched.
You were MFing something this morning.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was.
you should have caught me watching the third set in the tiebreaker of Taylor Fritz, Denis Shapovalov. It would have been an interesting watch. Yeah.
Those are 2 humans that play what sport?
Tennis.
Okay, great. Okay.
Cool. Allegedly, the best American tennis player lost to Denis Shapovalov. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. I'm far from okay, as was muttered in a movie.
Well, let's hope that your best bet gets you square there.
Don't worry, I can play some horse racing later today. That's clearly
an unraced horse, obviously.
Clearly, horse racing the safest bet you can possibly.
Yeah. I am 0 for my life in horse racing. So, all right, let's go to one wager that I have won. We'll make it my best bet here. I won this a couple weeks ago in the divisional round. Travis Kelce over receptions here at 6.5. It's juiced. It's not juiced. It's plus money because normally it's 5.5. So it's 1 extra reception here, knowing that everyone's going to wager on this. I talked about it 2 weeks ago. I'm going to repeat what I said. Since 2019 in the Chiefs Super Bowl era, when Kelce gets a week or 2 off before a playoff game, he has at least 6 targets, at least 6 receptions. Now, you need 7, of course, but the idea that he has double-digit targets in 7 of those 9 games, catches a lot of passes. Talked about game script, right? Game ideas and what I think is going to happen. The Eagles over the middle of the field is not a weakness, but that's where the openings are at, especially if they play a lot of zone coverage, as I think they're going to. And Oren Burks, the backup linebacker for the Eagles with Jacoby Dean hurt, is not a good matchup for the Eagles against Kelce. If there is pressure on Mahomes, he's going to find Kelce as well. So give me over 6.5 here, plus money, different than normal, because 1 extra reception. I don't think they're getting it 5.5. I think the books are just saying we're just not giving you 5.5.
Yeah, or if you want 5.5, you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah. So I'll go over 6.5. Yeah.
6.5. Anytime you can get plus money on something like that, I think
one more reception than
we all kind of know. We all kind of know he's going to be looking for.
Of course, yeah.
So, yeah, I like.
And according to Elie, he's going to propose after the game, so a lot to look forward to.
Yes, is he going to propose to his pregnant fiance?
That was quite a. That was.
I'm sure that'll raise.
If she is right, on
imagine
that, she is going to become very popular, even more than she is if she's right on that.
Yeah, she said Kendrick was going off the board, and
She got that right.
the
She
report.
said Taylor is pregnant already
Yeah.
and going to get proposed. But she thinks the Eagles are going to win, though. So that's
Yeah,
kind of.
I can't see that. I can't see a proposal after her.
I haven't looked at the rules for how you grade the proposal wager. Because what does after the game mean? Like, is it on the field? Is it like in the tunnel?
Before midnight, like on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, I'm curious. He's not going to do it though, because I said this before. The respect he has for the Chiefs, he's not going to upstage a victory with a proposal.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we think he retires on the Kelsey Brothers podcast later in the week? That'll be.
I think
that's going to be a great listen. By the way,
it'd be fantastic. It was great yesterday too. I think if he retires, it will be some point in the spring. Like it will be before the free agency starts, right? So the Chiefs can have a plan. But here's the thing about retiring. We'll end with this because we're rambling now. Is that a lot of players think they're going to retire, and then their body starts feeling good about May. And they're like, I'm coming back for one more year. Like that could surely happen with Travis, where he thinks he's going to retire. He says he might retire, and then like 3 months later, he goes, I feel great now. I'm coming to training camp.
By the way, before we go when we're rambling, it reminded me that to follow. I said we were going to hit on this when we were walking over. I love that Allen won the MVP last night. I love it.
Okay, so this is the first time maybe in modern sports MVP voting that they actually chose the most valuable player as a value.
Exactly.
Because Lamar Jackson won the first team All-Pro.
Outstanding statistical season. You are first team All-Pro. Absolutely agree with it.
I think I saw this tweet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you do. Someone will correct me. The last quarterback that did not win first team All-Pro to win the MVP was in 1987. Was Joe Montana. It'd been that long.
Yep.
That first, I think it was 17 straight years 17 straight times.
Right. They matched.
Yeah. Like I was shocked. Because you needed 8 voters, I think it was 8 voters to switch. And I knew one of them, I talked to one yesterday about it, and he said like it's the same idea. Like I wanted both guys to have an award essentially because they had great seasons. So I gave one. But I didn't think 8 voters were going to switch their votes, and they did. Otherwise, the awards I thought were pretty much what we thought they were going to be, right? There was no surprises.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I wouldn't say I was surprised, but I was kind of disappointed that Surtain won.
Over who?
EPOI. Anyone.
Chris Jones deserves, I think they need to give Chris Jones like a Lifetime Achievement Defensive Player of the Year award.
I could see that.
He's never won.
You were happy that some offensive linemen got some votes.
Yeah, 3 offensive linemen got votes for Offensive Player of the Year. And then I go back to this again. The guy that died on the football field still hasn't won Comeback Player of the Year. I don't know what it has to take.
Yeah, I was happy that Burrow won over Darnold. I would have been very upset had Darnold been Comeback Player of the Year.
There were, I think I saw 4 or 5 votes for Darnold, even though the AP said
even though they said
for him.
Correct.
You should not win Comeback Player of the Year. It's my strongest award take. Should not win Comeback Player of the Year from coming back from being benched or stinking.
It was like, that was Geno Smith. Geno Smith shouldn't have won.
It should be an award that
Flacco probably shouldn't have won either. Hamlin should have won.
Correct.
Guy died on the field.
It's an award that should show and reward players for their perseverance of coming back from injury. Now, Burrow's injury, it was just a wrist injury. Right. He's won that award twice in his career. That's like not a good sign. Right?
I was going to say that's not the one you want to win.
Yeah.
Twice. And Lamar's got his 2 MVPs. Allen got his 1. By definition, Josh Allen was the most valuable player, and I love it. On that note, we're gonna leave you. Appreciate everybody for sitting through here and hear us rant and get off on a tangent. And you head into Super Bowl weekend. Appreciate you for listening again on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, where we podcast, rate, review, subscribe. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be back Sunday morning. And remember, the less you bet, the more you lose when you win.